Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Monday. I hope y'all are doing good. Well, Glock's gone and done it. They decided that they are going to self cancel themselves essentially. They're going to cancel the vast majority and almost all of their models of guns. We've talked about this on this channel. It's been almost 2 months ago now when the anti Second Amendment Austrian company named Glock, we saw the letters and we shared them on this channel, and I'll show you again for those of you that might be new to this or maybe just don't want to believe it or whatever the case may be. But they wrote a letter to the Oklahoma legislature, not only saying they encourage it, but practically begging them and demanding that they pass gun control, that they ban a certain type of switch that criminals who don't follow laws have been using. Now, look, we live in the United States, and the supreme law of the land says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I believe all gun control is unconstitutional, and we shouldn't even have to talk about this. But yet, here we are, and that's why there's still a channel called 2A EDU, because the other side's been after the Second Amendment for a long time. And this channel said, and I know a lot of you agreed with me at the time, although quite frankly, some of you vehemently disagreed with me at the time. I actually lost many subscribers off that stream, and who knows, I might tonight too, you know? It's just how it goes. You unsubscribe from somebody in the year 2025 when they say something that might hit a little bit too close to home. 2A EDU, you're flying too close to the sun, they said. Oh, well, that's all right. We can still be friends, maybe, I hope. But no, we're going to shoot it to you straight here. And in my opinion, Glock sucks. They're anti-Second Amendment. They've just canceled themselves, and they're canceling you. And we said that here, didn't we, a couple months ago, that they're going to call for gun control. And it's not going to be enough. It's never, ever, ever going to be enough. Look, if there's not a line in the sand by now that's supposed to separate the Second Amendment supporters from the anti-gunners, that's supposed to separate Americans from people who hate this country, if there's not a line in the sand that's supposed to separate the men from the boys, then when is there going to be? When is there ever going to be? Because the other side, the communists, the people who hate America, who hate this country, it's half the country right now. Think about it. They're never, ever, ever going to stop till they get all of your guns. Every last one. Oh, yeah. They'll even come for your single shot eventually. Then they'll come for your knives. Then they'll come for your kitchen fork. Because these people are about control. And when we talk about gun control, the operative word has never been the gun, and it never will be. The operative word is control. And it is my hope that this Austrian company, this company that in my opinion doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, would rather bend the knee to the other side over, I would presume, profit, over, I would presume, in my opinion, corporate greed, all of these things. I hope that they just stop doing business in the United States, period. Because it's time, and it's been this time for a long time. You're either with us or you're against us. And I'm getting sick and tired of this crap. You know, I'm doing this stream late at night because I had to work all day. You know, all these law enforcement buy Glocks, all these government buy Glock. Well, guess what? Somebody has to fund these clowns. Somebody at the end of the day has to work all day to pay for all this crap. So here's the deal. California, they're trying to sue Glock out of existence. Several other states. Mexico's trying to sue them out of existence. And what did Glock do? Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't found any evidence that they've done. I haven't found any evidence that they ponied up millions of dollars to jump onto some of these lawsuits to seek to abolish large parts of the NFA. I haven't seen them headline on any of that. You know, I've seen companies like Palmetto State Armory put forth large sums of money. That once this new year hits and the tax goes down to $0 for 3/5 of the NFA, that are actually getting together and forming coalitions to try to sue, to try to get rid of these draconian infringing laws. I haven't seen Glock do any of that. What do? They say, oh, California, Gavin Newsom, yes, sir, we're at your beck and call. Oh, You're thinking about banning our guns? No problem. Don't even worry about it. We'll just ban our own guns. Just think about this. I'm trying to keep this a family-friendly channel, but we have a phrase for this. It's called being a cuck. And it's called another word that starts with a B that means a female dog. And that's my opinion of this company. And I think they're gutless, and I think they're feckless. And in my opinion, they're being motivated by corporate greed and all of the above. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to say it again, this ain't going to work. Glock literally came out, allegedly, reportedly, according to the Glock store, as confirmed supposedly by their own independent sources. The Guns and Gadgets channel's reporting this. Mr. Guns and Gear's reporting this. Virtually everybody's reporting this. So I'm going to say allegedly. Allegedly, Glock is going to be canceling all of their models of guns at the end of next month. November 30th is what it's being widely reported, except for their slim lines. They're 43, they're 43X, and they're 48. Why? Well, because liberal activist courts, judges from left-wing states, anti-United States states, yeah, I did say that. We do have states in this country that, in my opinion, hate this country. Now, not everybody that lives there. Don't mistake what I'm saying here. But the government, whatever that even means anymore, whatever any of this even means anymore, if you really think about it, these people within America that hate America. Now we have a foreign company from Austria that's made a little bit more than a foothold here. Probably the most popular handgun company in the country. I don't even think that's a debate. They've been calling for gun control, and now they're going to cancel all of their models of guns that are, let's say, double stacks. Basically everything except for like 2 or 3 models, actually. Because the 43, like, whatever. Do they even actually make that anymore? I don't know. I haven't heard of anyone buying one in years. So you can have any Glock you want, as long as it's a 43X or a 48, essentially. Now, I'm going to take a little bit different tone here. If you can't tell already, I have a little bit different tone than some of the fellow gun tubers. And they're saying, hey, if you want a Glock, hurry up and run out and get one real quick, because it might be hard to. Well, you can do that. You're an adult, and I do hope you think for yourself. And if you love Glock and you own many Glocks, look, it ain't nothing against you. You didn't do anything wrong, but it's a time for choosing right now. You're going to have to decide what you want to do going forth. And I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to think, but I do urge that you think about this, because a lot of you are going to have very important decisions to make. And while a lot of people are saying, if you want one, you better hurry up and get one. Well, think about what that means. Hurry up and go support a gun-grabbing company? Look, they've advocated and called and begged and pleaded for gun control. It's on the record. It's in their own stationery. It's signed by some super high up in the company with the last name of Guevara. Is he Che Guevara's cousin? Some people think he might be. I don't know. You tell me. Mr. Guevara at all. We're talking the top brass of Glock. They've been calling for gun control. If that wasn't enough, now they're canceling all these guns. And they're really canceling you if you think about it. Maybe you own a Gen 3 through 5 Glock, which as of right this minute, I believe are still being shipped, but as reported widely right now, not for much longer. Are you going to be able to get that slide you need? Are you going to be able to get that part you need? Well, yeah, you might be thinking, I'll go to such and such company that makes a great aftermarket. And look, if you were just asking for my opinion, I don't call for boycotts here, but if you were asking my opinion, I would encourage to shop anywhere other than places who call gun for control and want to acquiesce to the other side. Okay? That's what, if you just wanted my opinion, that's what I would tell you. But look, talk about opening the door, taking a crack, opening it up, where not only you can walk through it, but a herd of buffalo is going to run through it, and you're going to be able to drive an 18-wheeler through the door they just opened. In my opinion, this is going to lead to catastrophe in the gun industry and our ability to be able to buy new guns, which is part of keeping and bearing them, right? Like we haven't seen in a long time. You know, this reminds me of when Bill Ruger was saying the 10-round magazine's all you need in 94. We had an assault weapons ban to prove it. See, when these gun manufacturers acquiesce to this, And when these gun manufacturers, especially a juggernaut such Glock, beg for gun control, bend the knee, cancel their own guns because of a couple rogue, liberal, leftist, communist states, this causes all of this. Now, Bill Ruger has since died, and his children have come back and said, hey, we ain't like that. This is a totally new company now. Look, I don't have anything against Ruger anymore. The guy that made those decisions, he's gone now. But these are current people at Glock right now that are doing something to where, in my opinion, by giving in and not fighting back, see, the left's going to double down. What do companies like Glock do? In my opinion, it appears that they're just instantly throwing in the towel and saying, you win, uncle, just leave me alone. They're never, ever, ever going to leave them alone. What about all these other companies who use a cruciform type trigger? What about all these other companies that have been loved belovedly for all these years called Glock clones, Glock variants? What's going to happen to all those companies? Think about it. You'd think if anybody had the money to fight this off in court, it would have been Glock. That's what I would think, right? What about these big companies that make all these different versions? And here's the crazy part. Not only is it going to open the door, in my opinion, to make all of them fall like dominoes, and I hope it's not true. I hope so bad they can all stand up together and somehow stop this crap. But when you have the largest mover in the industry, I don't think there's too much of a debate in that, is there? And you guys can let me know if I'm off a little bit, but I think Glock's going to be like the #1 seller of handguns in this country. I really think that's probably true. And if it's not, they've got to be at least top 3, no matter what, right? So we can at least agree this is a huge, huge, huge company. This is a huge force. I have no access to their financial records, but you would assume they probably have a lot of money. No. Here's the problem. It's called greed, in my opinion. It's called anything so that they can just keep on doing whatever it takes at the expense of the Second Amendment, at the expense of their customers, to just keep selling as many guns as possible. Like, I've heard of crazy stuff before, but this is nuts. Again, being widely reported by the Glock store, many other people claim they've independently fact-checked this. I'm reporting on things that are probably reliable sources. I hope none of this is true. But at the same time, we have seen in writing, signed by Mr. Guevara and others, the Glock's been calling for gun control for a while now. I ain't happy about it. Guarantee you there's going to be a way that law enforcement and the military are still going to get what they need. They'll still be able to get all the Glock models they want, probably, in my opinion. I'm sure as their guns go down or they need to buy a new slide or component such as this, I'm sure it just always works out where they can get whatever they need. Well, you're supposed to be the backbone of America. I mean, literally, if it wasn't for we the people, we wouldn't even have a country at all, right? But it seems they've forgotten about that. And I keep mentioning the government and Glock so much because we get these companies. This is what the modern oligarchy looks like. These companies that are so intertwined with government contracts. Remember, I've talked about this quite a bit in my streams. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's good to have you here tonight. But I've talked about this a lot. How an ordinary dog, I mean, look, a dog's man's best friend, if nothing else, right? A lot of times just your normal, typical dog wags its own tail. But then you end up in this real sinister situation where sometimes the tail wags the dog, doesn't it? You know, you think to yourself, is it the government calling for Glock control? Or is it Glock calling for government control? Who owns who? Who runs who anymore? I don't know. Just think about it for a minute. Maybe some of you have the answer, but at the very least, maybe some of you are asking the question, right? No, this is a company that's so intertwined in government contracts. I think at this point, they have an attitude towards the plebes, towards people like me and you. It's my opinion that they're like, you suck and we hate you. You can all just go do whatever. Not to mention there's so many fanboys. There's so many people that are going to carry their water, and quite frankly, are right now already, I've noticed. There's people just begging me like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the Glock V, whatever the heck that even means. The new Glock V is coming. Are you excited? Huh. Look, this company hasn't innovated anything since the 80s. They were innovative at one time, like in the mid 1980s. Let's just say 40 years ago. Since then, everybody's been doing everything better. All these clones and variants offer many features that most people like better, at least that I've noticed. But there's just something about it, just that name, Glock, 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 Glock. People are probably pounding me with the thumbs down right now. Glock, Glock, Glock. I know. Oh, trust me, I know. I've been around this for a long time. And I also know the paradigms. If you want to be a successful YouTuber, if you want to be a successful gun tuber, you just have to say everything's awesome and everything's great. Well, to hell with successful, whatever. I'm just a dude that was out working all day on my lawnmower, fighting this daggone rain and lawnmower breakdowns, just trying to survive. And I'm just a dude like the rest of you wanting to talk about some bullcrap right now. So if you do like me talking frankly about this topic, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, because, oh, I know exactly how this works. I'm about to lose a whole bunch of subs again. Oh yeah, that's okay though. That's actually all right, because I'm just getting sick and tired of this crap. And after all of this, but 2A Edu, hold on, I can hear it right now. Glock's just trying to save their company. Yeah, well, we have a Second Amendment in this country. They've called for gun control. That's it, period. I was out then. And now this is just kind of a I told you so. Not to all of you. A lot of you are thinking to yourself, I told you so. Because for everyone that disagrees with what I'm getting at here, I'm sure there's some people who do agree with me. Now, keep in mind, I'm bashing the most popular brand of handgun in this whole country. So, of course, I'm going to bring on some hate. But look, here's the deal. If you own a Glock right now, I ain't judging you. I get it. You bought like one of the most prolific guns ever. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to confess, I own a couple of them. Okay? I also own a bunch of Springfields that I don't talk about and don't show, because I bought them before they curbed their bull crap. And guess what? They didn't do anything bad to us here in Michigan, but it didn't matter. Springfield and Rock River, mainly Springfield, because they got real swarmy about it. They screwed over people. They screwed over kitchen table FFLs. They messed with my friends that live in Illinois. You know that? Years ago now. Here, let me be blatantly honest with you. I own a dozen of their products. Do I ever review them on this channel? No. Do I talk about them? No. So trust me, I get it. If there's anybody right now that's like, dude, but it's my favorite gun. But dude, I've spent thousands of dollars on it. I know. I've gone through the same dang thing. And I own a couple of Glocks. Sucks. Sucks to feel betrayed. It sucks to be on the losing team. Trust me, I've been on this side of this. But yeah, when that company messed with the people in Illinois, I said, no, that's enough. I don't live in Illinois. I'm probably never going to live there. But I know good people that do. Well, now what about Glock? They cancel all of their guns except for like essentially 2 models. They beg for gun control. What now? I genuinely mean this too. Like, for any of you out there that are like, dude, but Glock's my EDC. But I own 14 Glocks and I feel terrible about it. I don't know what to tell you. Should you keep carrying it? Look, run what you brung, you know? This channel's not going to promote that company. This channel only promotes stuff that we like, actually. I don't like people that are anti-Second Amendment. I don't like people that bend the knee to California at the expense of the whole rest of the country. Why don't you just ban guns from California? Now, hold on, California guys. I've got your back, but hear me out. But ban it to all of the law enforcement that's there. Ban it from all of the military that's there, too. Just say, we won't sell to anybody who's there. Now, hold on. This won't take long, and they'll change their tunes, eh? But it's always this duality where it's like, oh, well, we'll ban this here. But military and police and everyone else are completely exempt. And that's what it means to live in a 2-class society. That's what it means to have rules for thee, but not for me. And that was what it means to not have true justice. See, if it was just, oh, well, just ban them from everybody, including the government. Oh, watch how quick it changes. It would change so fast, you wouldn't even know it. If these companies would grow a pair and say, we ain't selling anything to California, no matter what it is, especially not to the government, watch how fast you'll be able to get almost any gun you want. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Try it sometime. See what happens. I already know what would happen. It's obvious. Let me show you this real quick. I see I have a couple super chats, which I really appreciate it. I am going to read those in 1 second. Yes, I do own a few Smith & Wessons, Paul Bennett. Yes, I do. And I want to show this real quick because this matters. You know what? I do want to tell you guys something. It is refreshing and nice as I'm sitting here kind of pissed off tonight. You know, I mean, you guys, a lot of you are not like, yeah, you know. No, this ain't cool at all, man. You guys know where I stand on the 2A by now. No. But it is nice to know there's still a good few cool people left in this world. I'm looking down in the chat, and I see a lot of good people that do get it. And I just want to know I do appreciate you guys. And it is about what Jericho Armament says. Bottom line, we need to stick together. Yes, sir. You know, and we're either going to stick together or we're surely going to hang separately, aren't we? I believe it was Ben Franklin that said that. If not, it was one of the other great founding fathers. Matt Morrison, what's happening, Matt? How you doing, man? Speaking of people that have been around this channel a long time, nobody's been hanging out here as long as Matt Morrison. Nice to see you, man. Crappy move by the company. Oh, yeah. We're making that clear here tonight. Dude, keep what you have. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Look, I'm not telling anyone to be throwing stuff away. You guys work hard for your money. You needed to protect yourself. You need to defend yourself. But I would encourage anybody who's thinking about running out, because this is so weird, man. I don't get it. I'm not saying anyone's names. I'm not trying to start crap with anyone particularly. But as I was out cutting grass, I was listening to different videos that were popping up throughout the day about this topic. And I'll be darned, but almost every video said, if you want one of these, you better hurry up and run out and get one while you still can. I don't understand that. Can anyone that explain to me? Like, these are channels that have like Second Amendment in their name. They claim that they're the most staunch defenders of the Second Amendment there is, and they're encouraging their large audiences, and I mean large audiences in many cases. Go out and buy it. If you want one, you better buy them all up as fast as you can. Excuse me? What? I'm hoping this company will pack their bags, tuck tail, and run back to Austria. Remember that old movie with a darling girl named Dorothy in there? And there's the epiphany. There's the moment. We ain't in Kansas anymore. Now, how is it going to make this company wake up and say, we ain't in Austria anymore? This is America. This is where there's still some real people left that actually believe in the right to keep and bear arms. We effed around and we found out we ain't in Austria anymore. What do we do? You know what I mean? Now, look, I'm not going to tell you how you can't go buy a Glock. I'm not going to even slow you down if you're stampeding to buy every last one you can. I ain't going to do that. I'm not a petty tyrant. I'm ranting about all these tyrants. But I would ask you this, and I'm just asking you this. Think about that, though, what that does. And if when you're done having some deep thought about the topic and you've still decided that's the right thing to do, then you go do you, whatever. But it's kind of this mealy mouth thing going on. But I know why. Well, this is the most popular company. I'm trying to be the most popular gun tuber. My ad reads are worth more money. This is sponsored by this. This is sponsored by that. The more viewers I get, the higher my sponsors are. Welcome to corporate America, corporate oligarchy, corporate Austria, corporate gun tuber, corporate whatever. Welcome to all of it. And if you want the big ad reads and you want the big sponsorships, of course you have to say, well, they totally screwed us over. They're totally going to like possibly get half these gun companies like out of existence by acquiescing, by being feckless. You can't say that. You can't say that because this is the most popular gun company in the country. And half your viewers are going to get really mad at you when you say something like that. So maybe you guys can explain it to me. I will read the chats. The best thing to teach Glock a lesson, guys, right now is to run out and buy as many of them as you possibly can. What? I just don't understand it. Now, maybe some of you guys can explain it to me, but I'm kind of scared. I actually don't want to understand something like that. You know, I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, that's just bad. I just want to stay away from it. Boy, that lake of fire sounds hot. I wonder how hot it is. No, I don't want to swim in it to find out how hot it is. So maybe I'll take that back. Maybe I don't even want to know what justifies where your premier source for the Second Amendment. Now, if you want to get yourself a Glock, run out and buy as many as you can. Maybe I don't actually want to understand what that feels like. So I take that back. I actually don't want to understand. No, I'm being serious. I'm a hypocrite. I just said, help explain this to me. What makes you want to go support something that's screwing you over? I don't want to understand it, actually. You start understanding too much evil stuff. I guess it just destroys your moral compass and what's left of you. And you want to know the crazy part? Here's Glock. Right here. We've showed this before. I'm not going to dwell on it. Just wanted to show it again real quick. Just to remind people, because believe it or not, it's kind of like, I still have people, what are you talking about? Glock never called for gun control. Yeah, they did. It's right here. August 19th, 2025. Glock fully supports state legislation intended to criminalize the unlawful manufacture, sale, distribution, possession, and or use of MCDs and urges you to join 27 other states in prioritizing legislation to stop the proliferation of MCDs nationwide. Please let us know how Glock can advocate for such legislation and meaningfully assist in this critical endeavor. Thank you for your continued service and attention to this matter. Signed, Carlos Guevara. Hold on to AEDU. It walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, but it must be a rhinoceros. Excuse me? It's a freaking duck. It quacks like a duck. It walks like a duck. Like, really? Here's where the devil's in the details. Most of these state laws, it's not just an MCD. When they ban those, they ban about 10 other things that are adjacent to it. Your binary, your pull release, your FRT. You want to know what's nuts about all this? This Glock V is going to come out. And before it even hits the market, there's already going to be a switch for that within 5 seconds flat. The signal, the printers, just the innovation. I wouldn't be surprised that if nobody can invent a switch for the new Glock Model V the day it arrives, the government will invent one and submit it to the ATF just to get it on the record. In fact, they probably already have the Glock V, in my opinion, behind the scenes right now. It wouldn't surprise me. They already know what it's going to be, and there's probably already somebody inventing something for it so that can get banned too. I mean, there's something big going on here, in my opinion. There's a lot to this. America the Free, what's happening, man? Thank you for the generous super chat. I appreciate it. Nice to see you, by the way. It's been a while, man. Says thank you, love you. Well, thank you, and thank you for being a channel member. And Lots of love to you all. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. Sprotsford, another longtime channel supporter, channel member, and a super chat, says, this sucks, bro. I know, dude. This does suck. Not happy about it. Why would they give in to the other side, guys? The other side's never, ever, ever, ever gonna stop. Now look, I'm not really a big fan. I used to like Taylor Swift a little bit when she first came out and sang country music. She had some catchy tunes. After about a decade of hearing her whine about all of her ex-boyfriends, it kind of whatever. But I will tell you this. She did put out a song. And the main refrain goes something like this. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. It's a Taylor Swift song. Now, is this by any means something we should be looking at to the grand philosophies of life? No. However, Glock should listen to that song. The other side is never, ever, 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 ever going to stop trying to ban all of your guns. Taylor Swift, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. Go look at the song. It's a real song, I promise you. I have a 13-year-old daughter, you know. I mean, look. Glock, the other side are never, ever, ever, ever going to stop trying to ban all the guns. And by the way, they're going to have a switch for this within minutes, within seconds. I lost you. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I spelled it out in perfectly English. All right, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a singer out there. Her name's Taylor Swift. Everybody come out from your caves. This is the largest record seller we've had in a generation. I don't even like the music. She wrote a song. Google it. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm not trying to lose you guys. I'm just saying, like, what do you all think? Stifler manufactured. It's the fear of missing out. Yeah, FOMO, they call it nowadays, right? And scalper mentality. They don't want to not have it before it becomes unavailable. They want to get it to sell it later. Maybe. That might be it. What's this going to do for companies like you? And I wish you well. I'm not trying to be sinister, but I'm sure you've thought about this. Look, I'm a big fan of the PSA dagger. But hold on, what's that based off of? See? Now, in my opinion, Glock needs to be fighting this tooth and nail and doubling down and putting out more models. Of course, I'm not a CEO. My last name's not Guevara, so what would I know? But I just know this never, ever works out well. I've been around this game a long, long time. And every time you give in, you give them an inch, they take a mile. They're going to exempt law enforcement. They're going to exempt the government, man. Don't even think about that. What about everybody that owns a firearm like this, readily convertible? Every gun's readily convertible into almost anything you can think about. Well, if I still have my double barrel shotgun, hold on a minute. Do you own a hacksaw? Well, yeah, of course. Every man owns a hacksaw. Hold on. You're only moments away from that becoming an SBS. Well, by this logic, we just need to ban that too. Or all the shotgun companies just need to get together and say, well, hold on a minute. Hacksaws exist. So there's people that don't follow laws out there. So let's just self-delete and stop making shotguns, period. Because I don't think there's a shotgun out there that a hacksaw can't defeat. And a lot of you are thinking, screw the hacksaw. You're like, I've got an angle grinder, a pneumatic cutoff wheel, a battery operated. I've got a bandsaw, a sawzall. You know, I mean, think about this for a minute. Communist states that hate this country and hate the Second Amendment are suing the crap out of Glock saying, well, here's the kicker, dude. their newest generations, they already have this piece of polymer on the back of it that denies the switch from it even being able to be affixed anyways. They already put in something to physically block it. Yeah, but you can just remove it quickly. So what? Criminals don't follow laws. These laws only affect the law-abiding, obviously. And once guns are outlawed, then only outlaws will own guns. What's happening, Dale? How's it going, man? Robert says old Glock's going to jump in value. They very well might, but why would they drop in value is my question. Or why would they jump in value, rather? I'm sorry. Why are they going to jump up in value? Are people going to run out and buy as many of these as they can? I don't understand. Yeah, I understand stuff. Well, yeah, keep going, man, and best of luck to you. There is a whole clone market the Glock never supported. I agree. But what I think they've done now, by them acquiescing like this, I believe they're opening up the door where it makes it where the anti-2A, the anti-gun, the anti-American, they're going to now start coming after all of the rest with the renewed vengeance. That's what I believe. Paul Bennett, there you go. That's literally the name of the song. We are never, ever getting back together. I know. It's like, look, it was just an analogy, guys. Try not to be too boring. Lemmings, MC Joe says. Yeah, because people are going to want them, and now the market's not going to see the new ones coming in. Gen 3 is going to be real popular. Oh, yeah, by the way, this MOS, which, whatever, I don't know why they couldn't just cut it to like an industry standard footprint. But again, this company hasn't innovated crap in decades, to be honest. They really haven't. And now they're going to come up with this whole new trigger system or whatever it is, the Glock V. The Gen 4 was a nightmare with problems. They've had problems and teething issues with every gen that's come out, actually, if you go back in time and even in current times. But, dude, somebody's going to have a switch. Something they printed, something that, you know, Alibaba, Wish, whatever. There's going to be something that's going to drop right into or clip right on this new V. Within minutes, hours, there'll be something out there that instantly, then what? We're just going to have to ban that too? Just think about this. You guys realize, right? If instead of them making the law that says we're finally coming for all your guns, they're all banned, like they're doing in Canada for the most part right now. You guys realize if every one of us just volunteered and just canceled all of our guns and just dropped them all in the same big molten, I don't know, volcano? We just all climbed up the top of a volcano and started chucking all of our guns into it. Or some equivalent hypothetical. They would never need to pass the law if we just throw them all away on our own. So, because Glock's afraid they're going to get sued out of existence, they canceled all of their own products? Wow. I'm starting to get a headache just even thinking about this. I'm afraid you might take me out, so I'll just take a long walk off of a short plank. I mean, what? Oh, yeah, they went after the P80. They went after this. They went after, yeah, you're right. They go after one thing, it falls. They go after the next, it falls. California passes a law banning Glocks, quote unquote. And then within days, again, being widely reported, within days, Glock says, oh, we're just going to cancel all the rest of our products except for like a couple models. What? I don't know. Has anyone seen that this isn't true? I was out working all day, so I must have listened to 10 people's videos on it. And I think his name's Lenny. I don't shop there because I don't know. I've been around enough used car salesmen to be honest. But at the same time, it's like people say he would know. He reported it on his channel, I believe, first today. I think it's called Glock Store. And yeah, he reported it. And now we've had other people reporting it, saying they have all these insider top secret sources that are confirming all this. Huh. Travis says, 2A EDU, how can I get stickers? I know we send them out to Patreon supporters, and then from time to time I make a post over for my local supporters, and we'll send you one for free. But we don't have like a store or anything to sell them in. Irish Rover in Florida. What's happening, my friend? Yeah, man. No, I started off the stream by saying that. You know me well enough. You've been watching for a long time. I said that notwithstanding, there shouldn't be any machine gun laws or any gun control laws at all. Because as always, these laws only affect the law-abiding. And yeah, we could look at all kinds of things. We could look at the 13% that commits 52% of the violent crime. There's all kinds of things you could look at. You want to see where most of these switches are being used? It doesn't take long, but I mean, there's just so many things. There's just so many things going on in our society. We have a broken society in so many ways. And it appears, allegedly, that Glock's canceling their own models of guns. What a joke. I keep wondering if, like, SIG hired Glock as a PR firm. You know what I mean? Like, we've got a bad rap. Here, Glock, we'll pay you this much money just to completely, like, set yourselves on fire. I haven't even heard anything bad about a SIG now in a while with all this going on. Guys, look, my analogy earlier. I think people understood what I was saying, but maybe not. I never said that we're going to give up all of our guns. I never said that. What I said was the complete opposite of that. I'll actually say again what I actually said the first time. If everyone who owned guns was willing just to dump them into the cone of a volcano where they'd all melt away into oblivion, they wouldn't even need to pass the law banning all of them. You know what I mean? I didn't say I suggest that. I didn't say we're going to do it. I'm not going to do that. Are you? I hope not. It's called an analogy. One state bans Glocks, so then they ban their own guns from the whole rest of the states. What I'm saying is we're getting to the point now with this new Glock precedent, alleged precedent, allegedly, that they won't even need to pass gun control laws anymore. If just the threat of it and you ban your own stuff, you see what I'm getting at now? That's what I was getting at. I was never saying that we're actually going to turn them in or that we should or that I'm gonna. I would like to get out of guns in many ways and just like stop even thinking about them, because being into guns has to be one of the stupidest things to be into to a point if you really think about it. An industry and just a whole thing where like the other side's always against you and half the side's your own side's against you. It is a pretty depressing topic. Like, I do get that. Like, I love the Second Amendment, but I'm just getting sick of guns when it comes to like just the gun industry and all this. It's like, really? What gun company is going to try to turn on us today? It's been going on for decades now. Decades this has been going on. I don't know. You'd like to think to yourself, if we made more guns in America and had American companies, they might act more like Americans. Why do all of our guns have to come from every other country in the world and all of our ammo? That's a frustrating topic. But then again, we've had American gun companies and CEOs advocate for gun control in the past too. It is a frustrating topic. What's happening, Denny's Plant-Based Journey? How you doing, man? He says, just howdy, folks. Just a quick drop in. Oh, I mean, I'm here to swap back plates. Nope. I mean, just saying hello. That was funny, man. Thank you for the little comedic relief there. Oh, geez. What's up, Harry Grumley? How you doing? What's happening, Gort? How you doing? Yeah, that's the other kicker. And another brilliant business move. The new V model will be launched without being optics ready. Yeah, like, all right, let's just go back to, I don't know, let's go back to 2005 where you'd have to have a gunsmith custom cut you an acro footprint in if you're lucky. I mean, really? So thanks for being a channel member, Gort. I mean, really? Yeah, no FRTs in Florida. Exactly. That's the thing people don't want to realize. So many people have said, and maybe some people still are saying it, like, dude, it doesn't matter. That law Glock was advocating for, it's already against the law. Federally, National Firearms Act. When these states go through and ban these so-called MCDs, they usually pile on at least 5 to 10 other things that get swept up in it. Trust me, we have the quote bump stock ban that's passed the Michigan Senate, bipartisan. Every Democrat voted for it, and 3 Republican senators voted for it in Michigan. Luckily and thankfully, the Michigan House has not taken up the bill to vote on it, at least not yet, and I hope they never will. But it's already passed the Michigan Senate. It's one step away from becoming law because we know Governor Gretchen Whitmer will sign it immediately. It doesn't ban bump stocks. It bans virtually everything else. It bans virtually every type of trigger you could even think of. What, talk about a slippery slope. And it doesn't matter. These Glock switches have been federally illegal so long, and criminals are still using them in droves. If you make them more illegal, all that does is criminalizes you for certain gun parts that you may already own that are completely lawful right now. It's going to hem up a lot of good people that were just following the law and wanted to be left alone. That's the problem with all of this stuff. If this comes to fruition here in a month, and as reported, if Glock stops shipping all these models, what happens if you need a new slide? Are you going to get it? I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of aftermarket stuff out there. Great. How long will they be around? Because they're going to go after a certain type of trigger system now, then they're going to go after the next one. Then they're going to go after the next one. What's happening, Ron Wayne? How you doing, man? I'm a Glock owner too, Ron. I know you are too. It just sucks, guys. I don't like this at all. I don't like any of this. I'm going to tell you guys one more time, because there's a lot of new people that have been joining tonight. Welcome. Look, a lot of people are recommending you run out and buy as many as you can right now. You do you. I ain't going to tell you what to do. Like, you listen anyways. I wouldn't want to be friends with someone that would just, I tell you to do this and you listen. No, think about it, though. Think about if you want to support a company that's doing stuff like this, and run out and buy every one you can. Now, what you already own is what you already own. I was talking to a friend earlier on the phone. What's happening, Pillbox? Speaking of friends, how you doing, man? Thanks for being a channel supporter and my friend. Now, look, I was talking to somebody earlier, and I'm like, we were just talking about a few days ago, and then it got brought up again today when we were talking about Glock banning their own guns, apparently, reportedly. I'm like, dude, do you remember back like when the whole repeal 3/5 of the NFA, SBS, SBR, silencer, suppressor, any other weapon? We had the closest chance we've had in 100 years to repealing it. Didn't get it repealed, but they said now it's a $0 tax, which supposedly, and I hope it's true, has huge momentum going forth in the courts here. How can you make somebody get a tax stamp and go through all the provisions of something where the forms themselves say they're tax forms when there's no tax due? People are saying there's a good chance. Legal scholars are saying there's a good chance 3/5 of the NFA could get wiped out. And I'm like, man. And one of the companies that was at the forefront of all that, PSA, out of Columbia, South Carolina. Shout out to all the people from South Carolina, beautiful part of the country. Bunch of awesome people work there. It's a cool company. I've spent a lot of time around those guys, and just like the people in South Carolina. Like I've stayed there a couple times a year the last several years. I don't know the exact figures, but they donated like huge amounts of money to try to overturn parts of the NFA. Like there's a whole coalition doing it. I haven't seen Glock's name on anything like that. Instead, it looks like to me they've tucked tailed and run. We need to see these companies fighting, and the bigger the company is, the harder they need to be fighting for the Second Amendment. Yeah, I guess I'll just stick with my Mose and the Gaunt's, because Mosen and the Gaunt, two of the primary inventors of it, I guess they've been dead so long, they're not going to come out and call for gun control. So I guess I just have to go with, pre-communist Russian stuff. Yeah, the Mosen and the Gaunt, 1891. That would have made it come out about 20-something years before the Bolshevik Revolution. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to go with pre-communist Russian stuff, because then I know that they're not going to come out and advocate for gun control, I guess. The Craig Jorgensen, there you go. I don't think Mr. Craig or Jorgensen are going to call for gun control anytime soon. I don't know. Look, guys, you guys have all your brands you like. I keep that PSA box right there just because, and look, I bought that with my own money. A lot of you guys have shot that GF3 AK. I spent the same price for it all of you would have. In fact, make sure you're checking out my locals community for deals on stuff, because I post awesome deals. And one day I posted a deal on it, and then I went out and bought one myself. And a lot of the guys in the chat have actually shot that exact one. And yeah, by the way, one of the co-founders of PSA is a good personal friend of mine, and I bought it with my own money and paid full price for that rifle. But I'm just bringing them up as an example of a company that is putting tons and tons of money to help repeal gun control. And maybe Glock's doing that, just nobody knows it, but I've been asking people that are arguing with me about this topic. I'm like, well, where's all their big donations to fight off the NFA, Because how about this? Instead of just canceling your own product line like Glock is reportedly doing right now, why don't you just try to beat back the NFA and get rid of it? There's a novel concept. Why wouldn't a company like Glock write letters to the state legislature and say, hey, we encourage you to pass a bill and pass a law that removes machine guns from being illegal? Duh. I think Glock could sell their own OEM switches. Just think about this. Why not put the resources into repealing the NFA? You at least got to try. Look, you got to try, and you got to fight the good fight. And you got to fight it on your feet until you get knocked down or die trying. That's how the founding fathers looked at it, obviously. The Glock 18. Just think about this. Why don't you fight to repeal the NFA, and then boom, the Glock 18 will be the most popular model the day it was repealed. Now, is that a big ask to say we're just going to repeal the whole NFA tomorrow? Yeah, but until I just saw this happen, I never thought I would have saw a company, as reported, again, as widely reported today as it is, canceling all of their model numbers except for like 2. That's preposterous. I don't know. JR says, yep, you were right. Glock sucks. They're capitulating to the left of flipping off their own consumers. Dude, that's what I'm worried about, especially my friends in here who it's your EDC. You're well invested. You're emotionally tied to it. Whatever your dilemma is right now, I feel terrible for you guys. I mean, I'm a Glock owner too. I own a couple. Am I emotionally attached? No. Are they my favorite? No. Is the 43X an awesome little package for carry? Yeah, but I don't like that it's single stack. It's 10 rounds. I'm a much bigger fan of my Dagger Micro, for example. All right, so that's what I'm a fan of. So it doesn't hurt me as much as it does you guys in a certain sense, but trust me, it's hitting me as hard as anybody as far as just to see a company that, in my opinion, is just capitulating this quickly. And it literally called for gun control. That's not even my opinion. They provably on their own stationery called for gun control. Mr. Guevara and all the rest of them. I'm Gabriel, but who will miss the Glock trigger? Don't get me started on that, man. I'm trying to be nice to all my Glock friends. There's probably someone out there that likes the Glock trigger, okay? Dude, political, there ain't going to be much pushback, okay? I already told everybody earlier. I gave you the prescription here. You want to be a successful gun tuber, a successful two-way channel? You just tell people what they want to hear. You tell them, well, what do you all think? You think this? I agree. Your role, if you want to be successful on YouTube or anywhere, is you just tell people what they want to hear. Because, hey, man, it's all about the numbers. And the higher the numbers, the higher your sponsorships. I haven't read any sponsorship ads this stream. I do want to thank my sponsors, though, like my channel members, Patreon supporters, those of you who support on locals, those who have left super chats tonight. Thank you, sponsors. But look, man, I know this goes against the grain. I'm telling you guys, I know this. I'm making a conscientious decision. I'm not supposed to be on here right now ripping on the company that probably 90% of my viewers own one of their products. I own their products. But I'm frustrated. I just wanted to sit on here and talk about it. So I'm going to read a few more chats and probably jump off. I have to unload some of my truck because it's going to rain yet again tonight. Still trying to finish my lawns from last week. I ain't ripping on none of you that own Glocks. I ain't telling you what to do with your Glocks. Whoever's carrying water for Glock, though, man, we can still be friends in the end. We can be friends maybe later, you know, I mean. But right now, man, I don't have too much patience in people carrying their water, though. I am going to say that. But 2A EDU, all they're doing is they're just trying to stay in business, brother. Yeah, cope, whatever. But 2A EDU, they're really not doing anything that bad. I mean, shoot, they are going to come out with the model, whatever, man. Like, cope. Simp. Simps are going to simp. You know, it is what it is. Maybe they'll give you the courtesy of a reach around. I don't know, but I wouldn't bet on it. You know what I mean? Look, man, it is what it is. I'm not mean-spirited, but at the same time, I'm going to stick up for myself. I'm going to stick up for all the Second Amendment supporters out there. Newsflash, this is what a real Second Amendment supporter looks like. Hello? The right of the people to keep and bear arms, it shall not be infringed. You dip your toast in milk, it ends up a soggy mush. You're either with us or you're against us at this point. But hold on to AED, you're being a little harsh now. No, I'm sure Glock just has to look out for their own. Well, I don't give a crap. We need to start standing up for the Constitution at this point, period. This company's openly called for gun control. I predicted this 2 months ago. I said, yeah, they're going to acquiesce to this, and then what's going to happen? You go back and watch the stream. It's on the record. If anyone thinks I'm making this up, I said, then what's going to happen? They're going to ban them anyways. And then guess what? They'll beg for mercy for that, and then they'll still ban them again anyways. They're going to ban, and they're going to ban, and they're going to ban. You can't ban me because I've already banned myself. Oh, great. Fine, then. Welcome to the club. The leading gun control banners, the ones that have banned the most guns. All right. California, Glock, New York. There you go. The 51st state. The 51st state of Austria coming in hot to ban as many guns as they can. I mean, justify it how you want. There's just no way to justify this company's actions as reported. Their reported actions. You're welcome, Harry Gremley. What's happening, Midwest Logger? He has a G21 that lives in my truck. Oh, there you go. XTs have always been more comfortable. I was a huge XT fan. Then they pulled their crap in Illinois. Carbon Spider. Guess you have to be old to know when people said you was a square, it was a bad thing. I was over at my friend Jane Locke's house this evening. I was cutting a lawn like just like a quarter mile down the street from her. I don't see her in the chat tonight, but you guys know Jane. Jane that's always hanging out with us. Anyways, she wanted some bushes transplanted and having some issues with her health. I said, well, I'll let you know before I come back out. But when I'm cutting this lawn next week, I can stop over and probably help you with that here in the next week. And we were just talking about all this crazy stuff, like these furries, and they're putting litter boxes in the bathrooms at schools and just all this craziness. And it's just funny you say square because I look at her. I said, look, man, I don't care what anyone says, but I'm basically just a square nowadays. I'm a square. I mean, remember that song Okie from Muskogee? Oh, Merle, a place where even squares can have a ball. You guys look that song up. That's a good song. Taylor Swift, I ain't really a fan, dude. At one time, I liked some of her music, 20 years ago when she had some good country music songs for a minute there. But now, look up that old Merle song. It says a place where even a square can have a ball. Some of you guys know that song. I know you do. But look, man, I'm just basically, I'm pretty boring. I'm pretty straight and narrow. I'm kind of like probably pretty lame. I just want to be left alone. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, Colonel Angus, Glock's never been our friend. They are an EU company. I mean, think about that for a minute. You want to know what's funny? Word Up Russia says their slogan is perfection, which always seemed a little blasphemous to me. Well, it's always been the joke, right? It's Glock perfection. After you undercut the trigger to get rid of the Glock knuckle, after you change out the plastic sights, after you change out the trigger, okay, after you have to put in an extended mag release, after you have to put on an extended slide catch, after you stipple the whole frame, depending on what gen is, after you get rid of the finger grooves, and then buy an aftermarket barrel, usually also custom worked onto the slide, plus 2 base plate extension. And after you've literally changed 90% of the parts from your already perfect gun, then it's good to go. It's always been a joke. I mean, you guys know this. Give you a little piece of trivia. I can't show it to you now. But shout out to the Tara company. Tara. Now, if we weren't on YouTube, we can't touch guns while we're live on YouTube, all right? That's the rules. Oh, trust me, if I even think about it, they'll nuke this stream so fast. They got me for playing mariachi music. They took down a video that was doing quite well, by the way, just last week. Has anyone heard of the company called Terra? I have a couple of them. They're really rare guns, actually, because they only came into the U.S. for like 5 seconds. And I don't know if like Glock sued them or what happened. I don't know. But they say Terra Perfection on them. They do. It's true. It literally says Terra Perfection. Some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. If not, you just learned something. They call this the 2A Edu channel for a reason. Yeah, let's vote for Gavin. Gavin Newsom 2028. I mean, whoa. No. Think about this, though. You want to give this guy a political win? This could be the next president of the United States. Heck, the way I look at it, now that you say that, I'm like, whoa, I'm having an epiphany. We ain't in Kansas anymore. Wow. I mean, Glock may have just become Gavin Newsom's biggest campaign donor. I just thought, wow, this is deep. Think about what they're saying here. Could very well get Gavin elected. Dude, this could get Gavin Newsom elected. Wow. Think about this. Gavin Newsom's victory so big now. He bans Glocks from California and then Glock bans themselves. This is like epic. I've never actually seen this happen, though, for real. Wow. I'm going to have to think about that more. Jeez, oh, Pete. I came on here all revved up, and I look at this, and I'm like, wow. Whoa. This could get Gavin Newsom elected. Is this even Glock doing this? Think about this. Is the dog wagging its own tail right now, or is the tail wagging the dog? Just don't lose your common sense, people. Don't lose it. If something just tells you, if it makes the hair on your neck kind of stand up a little bit, and you get the EBGBs and something, don't ever ignore your instincts. This world's so messed up nowadays. There's so much sinister stuff going on. Your instincts are all you have. I'm being serious. If you see a dog sitting there wagging its own tail, you're okay. If you ever see a tail sitting there and the tail's here and the tail's wagging the dog and it makes the hair stand up on your neck, run. That's not normal. Whenever you watch the tail wagging the dog, that's not normal. It's sinister. And you should be very afraid of that. So I don't know what's going on here. Is the tail wagging the dog? Is it the deep state telling Glock to do that? I don't know. I have no proof of any of this. I'm not even alleging it, but something seems really weird here. I've just never seen anything like to this extent. You know, I don't know. Calm down, dude. I'm being calm, man. Like, I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but excuse me. No, I'm trying to actually be really nice right now. Like, are you kidding me? If you saw a dog and the tail was wagging the dog, like, you would really, like, hey, just walk up to it, see what happens. I'm sure it's perfectly friendly. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but I'm like super calm. Wow. Don't walk home at night, dude. Like, whoa. If I'm getting you nervous, then don't look at your own shadow, man. Oh boy. Travis Chapin. You ain't been this world like I have. Elm 55 years old, dude. I don't know. I didn't learn how to spell like you either, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know, man. Tell me what you're trying to say. I haven't been in this world long enough to talk about this. How old do you think I am? Sweet 16, and I've never been kissed, guys. I'm 16 years old. All right, here you go. Here's the thing. I'm 16 years old, never been kissed. All right. I'm so innocent. I'm a babe in the woods. I've never been around any of this. All right. I mean, when I told you guys how I bought my first gun right before the 94 assault weapons ban, I was lying. That was my grandfather that was 15 years old in 1994. Hmm. I don't understand. J Flo, if you looked up Springfield and the skeletons in their closet, I mean, you might want to ask the chat. I already talked about it tonight. Really? I mean, oh boy. I haven't. Ron, what do you think of all this? I haven't seen stuff like this in a while. I know. This must be why we find ourselves in the shape we're in. Is there some teenage kids in this chat right now? Two-way idiot, you're not old enough to misspell 3 simple words in one sentence like me. Elm 55. Elm? I don't know, dude. Like, man, I guess I didn't learn everything you learned in Harvard Law School. You guys know I was a Zoomer, right? I mean, I'm old enough to talk about this. I was born in 2012. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off for just 1 minute here. Look, I try to make this stuff a little bit fun. Thank you. Thank you. See, they have all your names weird now. MUR9HY23. You notice they're putting all these weird numbers, guys. This is doom and gloom. This is sinister. I'm trying to have a little bit of fun. Trying to have a little bit of fun here. I mean, where are you guys at with this, though? Nice beer game for 16. I know. I was looking at it earlier. Have you guys had this happen? And look, I'm like out here working. I'm out here working outside. I get pretty dirty. And like literally, I don't care. Like I'm out cutting my grass. I've got my stained up shirt on, you know. Here you go. Now you guys can make fun of my shirt. You know, that's look, I've got like 20 of these. They all look a little different, and you can tell I don't wear the same shirt every day because the stains are in a different spot. But before I get on for the people, I just kind of look in the mirror real quick just to make sure there's not like, I don't know, like a wolf spider hanging off my face or whatever, because some of these people are so scared nowadays of their own shadow and of whatever that I'm like, I don't want to scare people. So I look, and you guys have had this happen, right? I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh man, I've got like a little booger in my mustache. That's what I thought. I didn't. It's just like a new gray patch started coming in right under my nose. You know, it's kind of like, man, it sucks to go gray at 15, guys. It's tough. Go Lions. Yeah. I was out cutting grass. Did the Lions win tonight? I mean, Well, I do listen to Taylor Swift. Now, well, here's the deal. I went to the daddy-daughter dance last year with my daughter. You know, it's a good thing to do. I enjoy it. I do. Daddy-daughter dance, like who could not enjoy that? So, I mean, annoying teenage girls, a room full of them, but you got to love going to the daddy-daughter dance because you get to go with your daughter. Yeah, I know. I'm 15. I have a daughter in 8th grade. I started young, okay? We'll just leave it at that. I started really young. But the whole theme to the last daddy-daughter dance was Taylor Swift. So try having a 13-year-old daughter and not hearing of Taylor Swift. No, I'm serious. It was a whole Taylor Swift themed dance. They probably played 25 songs. So there you go. Oh, I've listened to all kinds of music before. Is the AKV well made? I don't own one. I think it's cool, though. They've had it for a while. I think there were some initial issues with it, like very early on. As far as I know, the bugs have been worked out of it for a long time now. From what I hear, it's good to go. Maybe some of the people in the chat know more about it than me. Lifetime warranty. I will tell you that. You don't want to have to do a warranty claim. I'm just saying their stuff all has a lifetime warranty, which is nice. Yeah, I doubt it. I can't even play it right now because they'll literally strike this whole video. But do you guys want to know the last song I listened to before this stream started? Now, I usually just listen to podcasts all day. If anyone can even get a country mile away from it, because you probably won't. But I can tell you guys literally, I'm so tempted just to play it and prove to you that, I don't listen to a lot of music, but you guys will be shocked. Let me read a couple more chats to see if anyone can guess what song I was listening to. I'll tell you this. I mainly like to listen to country music, but not really the real new country music, like older country music and bluegrass. I like bluegrass music a lot. I like some old rock, but I don't really listen to, I don't even know if there is any new rock anymore. It's weird. The whole music genre thing is really weird, in the last few years. I'll say that. But I can tell you a very specific song from the 90s that I had on. Okay, these are some good ones, though, actually. Some good guesses here. From the Nirvana, Unplugged in New York, Plateau, which is actually a Meat Puppet song. I told you no one would guess that. But good guesses, guys. If you don't know about it, go look it up. You might like the song. I don't listen to it 24/7. It just popped in my head. I was just sitting there cutting grass earlier, and I started humming it for no reason. Got back to my shop, was getting the stream prepped, and I listened to a round of Nirvana, Unplugged in New York, Plateau. That's the name of the song. And I'm pretty sure it was a song actually written by the Meat Puppets. And I mainly listen to country and bluegrass music. Sprotcher with another super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. He said they're trying to rage bait. You don't fall for it. No, I appreciate the encouragement, man. No, I'm not falling for it. I'm trying to have a good time. I've already ranted as hard as I want to tonight about this topic. Just kind of seeing if you guys have anything you want to add at the end. That's what I was listening to. It's actually a pretty good song. If you actually listen to the lyrics, you may or may not like them. I don't know. Nah, dude, if I hummed a few bars. Yeah, I was talking about it in my Friday stream. They whacked the heck out of my stream before last and took down a video in the last week. They don't like a guy like me on here too much. Tom McDonald, you guys are talking about. Look, I don't have a lot to say about Tom McDonald. I don't like rap music. It's just not appealing to me. Never has been. It's not my thing. Do I find myself listening to Tom McDonald? No, it's just not my kind of music. However, I understand that's a very popular genre of music. And Tom McDonald seems pretty bass to me, and I've heard him talk about different topics. I've even had a few people, dude, just like listen to this song, and I'm like, well, I don't really like it because I just don't like rap music, right? But I have actually sat and read some of the lyrics to his songs, and yeah, man, it seems like, and I don't know every single Tom McDonald thing, so if there's a gotcha there somewhere, guys, whatever. I don't know too much about him, but different times I've heard him talk. I've read some of the lyrics to his songs, and he seems pretty based, and I think I'm a big fan. If that makes sense. I think I am a big fan of Tom McDonald. I'm just not going to listen to it because why would I listen to music I don't like? You guys know what I'm saying. Just like I might show you a country song, let's just say, and you'd agree the lyrics are excellent. You just might not want to listen to it because you don't like that kind of music, right? Same type of thing. Yeah, man. I mean, I used to like a lot of that 90s rock. I like me some old Leonard Skinner. I mean, I like older rock like that. Neil Young, I'm not such a big fan of Neil Young. Right? The Southern man don't need him around anyhow. And then Yankee doesn't need him either. There you go. Shout out to all the Southern boys. No. I called myself a Yankee. I took that away from y'all. See how fast I did that? Ooh. Dale says Toby Keith or Dwight Yoakam. I like Dwight Yoakam and Toby Keith. I do like Toby Keith. God rest his soul. Man, he died way too young. Yeah, dude, MTV died in the early 2000s. I'll do my Joe Biden imitation next stream, Pillbox. I got to get a little more senile. I'm a little bit too young to do that one tonight. Now, like some of these guys just become. A lot of these guys just become such. It's just so repulsive. I won't even listen to their music no matter what. All right, you guys are giving me some good songs to listen to. Nice. All right, well, I think I'm going to jump off here. Just wanted to kind of get a little off my chest about this reported move the Glock's doing. Don't like it at all. If you guys are watching on replay and you're still watching this late, shout out to you. Leave a comment and let me know where you're at with all this. And yeah, man, no, Johnny Cash is one of my all-time favorites. What's happening, Randy Smith? Oh, I love Johnny Cash. I like a lot of his songs. It'd be so hard for me to pick a favorite one, but When the Man Comes Around is a really good one. If you want to listen to something that's a little bit dark and a little bit deep, that's a pretty good one. The new Pokemon cards. Nice, Ron Wayne. That sounds pretty cool. I went to Johnny Cash's old house. The house burned down years ago now, but like the swimming pool was still there when I was there, and like the guard shack and his house on the lake. And I was there talking to someone who lived right nearby, and he's like, Roy Orbison lived right down the street there and whatnot. And here's the crazy part. All these years later, all right, I meet a young lady that's a swimmer, Riley Gaines. Has anyone heard of her? So I meet her at an event, and I go to ask her some questions about the Second Amendment, and I'm like, that lake you talked about, when they had the Kung Flu shutdowns, she talked about how she would swim laps around the local lake, and she talked about how it was in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and she's describing this, and I'm like, that lake sounds familiar, like I've been there. But that happened to be the same lake that Johnny Cash lived on. I'm like, whoa, that's a small world. It's kind of crazy. But from what I understand, Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash lived right down the road from each other. Yeah. CCR, I've listened to them a lot in my day too. Sure. All right, go let the dogs out, Carbon Spider. And I am going to jump off. Let me know what you think afterwards down in the comments, and we will see what happens. Hopefully they get the message and recant on all this, or maybe all of these super duper reliable sources were wrong on all this. I don't know. But for now, I'm just going to go with the Glock sucks because I already know they're anti-2A. And we will see how much more they want to cancel. And we do have a last minute super chat here from Ron Wayne. Shout out to the Ron Wayne channel, longtime channel member. And he left me a 223 super chat saying early 20th birthday gift. Nice, man. So I'll be able to spend that in another 5 years when I turn 20. Right on, man. Thanks, Ron. That's funny. Good way to end the stream. All right, I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.